WIBTA if I told my husband his sleep boundaries went out the window when he had our son? Husband, we will call Brad M28, and IF28 have been together 2.5 years. Had our son in January. Things have been pretty great, but this had me feeling kind of annoyed. Brad is diagnosed with autism and ADHD, which can make communication between us challenging at times, but we do our best. We live in Europe, not US. Since Brad has ADHD, he only works at 50%, the other half is covered by a health insurance here on a temporary basis, and every few months he has to keep applying for more. It is stressful, as we wait for him to hopefully get on a permanent coverage. Since this is so up in the air, instead of me taking a full year of mat leave, he took a majority of the days in case his temp health insurance is denied for some reason, then he can keep his work schedule at 50% and still get paid on the days he has off. Which means I went back to work part-time. I WFH as a private teacher. I choose my hours, since my students usually live in different countries. I chose some in the afternoon when Brad is home with our son, and at nights, when my students would be awake and Brad is also home. I only have one student in the evening, 23 to 23:30 twice a week. To clarify, I teach ESL to students in Asia, so that is why the time is the way it is. This is to help with some income, and we discussed this before I went back to work. He had asked no students past midnight. So if baby is having issues sleeping, he can take care of him and hopefully get him to sleep. Well, Brad got back on a schedule where he wants to go to bed at 2300 hours, every night. We try to, but with a baby, sometimes, it just does not happen. Baby sometimes will stay asleep when I put him to bed, I nurse him to sleep, and sometimes he wakes up screaming. Well, last night I told Brad I had my student at 2300 hours, and I would try to have baby sleeping by then. He asked me, "What is your plan if baby wakes up?" My bedtime is 2300 hours, so hopefully you have thought of something. I said, well, hopefully he stays asleep. If not, you will just have to take care of him, or put him on his play mat and entertain him. He resolutely said, bedtime is 2300 hours, and I will go to bed. Come 2300 hours, baby is in bed, and Brad is just getting out of the shower. I guess he woke up moments after I started with my student, as when I came out of the office, he was walking around with baby. I took him, nursed him back to sleep and went to bed also shortly after 23:30. This morning, he was a bit annoyed with me. When I tried to hug him goodbye as he was leaving to work, he did not hug me back. We always do this before he leaves, so I said, "Are you upset with me still?" He replied, "Yes, you crossed my boundary. My bedtime is 2300 hours. We discussed this. I go to bed, and anything past that is your problem to solve if baby wakes up." He left for work, and I was just thinking, what? I feel I need to have some discussion with Brad about this, but WIBTA if I told him he has no more boundaries with his sleep and he is being ridiculous? Edit. What does he do? He cooks, does all of that, lunch, dinner. He will help me with the cleaning, the cat at times. Takes baby so I can nap if tired. Since baby is only breastfed, I am with him all night. Thankfully he sleeps most of the night now, but I am still up at like 6:30 to 7 a.m. with him.
Relevant comments. Commenter, ESH for not sorting this out before there was a baby.
OP, we did. No students past midnight, and only when he is home. It was only recently he decided he wanted to go to bed at 2300 hours, and he knew my potential work schedule weeks before I even went back to work. Previously, bedtime for us was between 23:30, midnight. He also does get his 8+ hours of sleep almost every night.
Puzzleheadedrub 741. No, your hubby is TAH if he thinks he can make a whole baby but only parent according to clock shifts. It's a 24-hour-a-day job, Dad. Time to be the grown-up, Dad. ODHD isn't an excuse either. Plenty of ODHD people are parents. Adapting may not be a favorite thing, but it can be done. Maybe he'll need more breaks/support, but to bow out completely at a specific o'clock daily is a form of weaponized incompetence. Also, boundaries are what you do when someone acts against your limitations. Your husband issued a rule that you never agreed to. Get his ass in parenting classes, he has the time. His expectations are not in alignment with reality at all. Also, withholding affection as punishment, not hugging you in the morning to make his point, is a form of emotional abuse. Dude needs to be in counseling, too. Edit, emphasis on withholding affection as punishment because withholding affection due to needing personal space, time to emotionally process, or sensory needs is not the same thing. He could have spoken differently in the morning, but it seems he's pretty obviously holding a grudge.
OP. What my mother said. If it means he has to walk around with baby to calm him, he just has to. My schedule is not a surprise either. It was something we discussed weeks before I even went back. Update. So, he came home. And we had a long talk about how his words can be easily misunderstood, especially if he does not clarify to me, or I ask him to. How a baby equals no boundary with sleep. We do our best, all we can do. We need to spend more time as a family, together. I explained how to a neurotypical person, his words and actions hurt, even if that is not his intent. That baby is the priority always, even our mental health. We only have each other, and even though I can sympathize with the mental health, you just have to push past it. I am doing all I can, and if you need help, ask for it. He is willing to get extra support at the neuropsych where we live beyond what he has. He is medicated and getting all the help he can, and will seek ways to cope. I made it clear that no way was his reaction okay, and it cannot happen again for baby's sake. He seemed to understand. As some of you suggested him getting extra support for his ADHD, he will. I will ask also for some counseling how to communicate better myself to him. Around the house, he will spend less time alone. More with us. Free time happens after or when baby sleeps. Not before. Games can be played in the living room where we are together. Also, my mother offered to be on call if she has the time, so if husband is alone with baby, she can video chat with baby, which he likes. I talk with her on video almost every day, and sometimes it can snap baby into a better mood when he sees his Grammy. And yes, we live in Sweden. So we get 480 days between us and we can share/trade, so I can get some days back if it comes to it. I was never forced to give my days, it was my choice due to what was happening at the time. He only works 50% because that is what he feels he can do without burning himself out. He has other health issues, diabetic, EDS, that make him more exhausted. His job pays pretty well, but on just half his wage is not enough. If he gets permanent health insurance, it could take a few years. We hope. I am with him because when I met him he was under less pressure. He is fully capable, had a job, cleaned his apartment, has a social life. I think the stress of having the health insurance and our son sometimes just being a baby got to him. Prior to this, he has been a good husband, father, considerate. I am not stupid. I was in an abusive relationship prior. My parents love him. Just not his behavior at times like now. He messed up. With his words. He has acknowledged that. Some of you thought it might be a deeper issue, but no. I asked and he just said he was upset because to him I was working at a time he did not agree to, but I had to remind him wanting to go to bed at 2300 hours was recent, as in back in May, when I started to go back to work. He just is stressed, from work, baby, and just day-to-day things. He apologized for how he rejected my hug by standing there, he was annoyed, why he did not reciprocate, and how he worded things last night and this morning. I promised no students past 23:30. He said OFC he would never let our son just cry if he was going to bed, I had student, and baby was awake. Will it stick? We just take one day at a time. Next step is couples counseling as opposed to individual and involving my parents whom he respects.